Hello everyone, happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Angela Gennari and this is Motivation Monday. So we haven't done a Motivation Monday in several weeks because, to be quite honest with you, I just wasn't feeling very motivational. But I have been putting some things in writing over the past week, and I really wanted to talk about it today because, for two reasons. Number one, because I feel like I'm learning a lot of lessons, and I want those lessons to be kind of put out there to the universe so that the universe will stop sending me lessons like I'm letting you know I'm learning this right now. And number two, I think it's just really important for us to understand that, we can come out of this better, but we do have to learn these lessons, and we do have to acknowledge that there is a silver lining to this. So I wanted to talk about the 10 things that 2020 is teaching us. So, number one, never take your friends and family for granted. I think we've all learned over the past several months that, not having access to an elderly parent or grandparent, or not being able to see our friends and our family, or not being able to, spend time with someone in a relationship has been incredibly hard. And we take for granted how easy it is to connect with people until you're not able to. So just being able to understand that those friends and those family members are just so important to you, and showing and acknowledging their importance in your life is very, very valuable. And I think that we've learned, that we've taken that for granted for way too long. Number two, things don't have to be done the way they always have in order to be meaningful, whether it's working at home or a relationship, or things that we're doing around the house, or time with our kids or our family. I think that when we start seeing that we have to do things slightly differently, it can still be equally meaningful, if not even more so. So I think, working from home, you can have just as equally meaningful work when you're doing it from home as you can from an office. You also can do, have great relationships and great time with your kids, even if it's spent at home, even if it's not at an amusement park or not on vacation, because I know that a lot of us will set aside that quality time with our families when we're at another place, like a vacation or an amusement park or a movie theater or whatever it is, but we can have equally meaningful time with them at home. And I think that that's what we really need to start remembering as we're moving forward, even after this pandemic is over, that we can still have equally meaningful things that we do with our families and our family and our friends, even if it's, in a different environment. It doesn't have to be done the way it's always been. Number three, small businesses are crucial to our economy and should be valued and supported. Now, I'm going to have a follow-up piece on this because, again, this is something that hits really, really home for me. As a small business owner, it's been really, really tough to have no ability to work, or to work at a limited capacity as a small business when something is done that's completely out of our control. So I know that everybody's doing the best that they can right now, but a lot of small businesses are on the brink of losing everything, and I hate this for them because there's about a handful of very large corporations where all of our money is being diverted to right now during this pandemic, and it makes me so sad because that's money that should be spent on small businesses, on furthering our economy, on doing the right thing for the people who have put everything into their business and their livelihood. So it really is hard right now because I know a lot of small businesses are working in a limited capacity, if at all. And so this time that we're diverting all of our money and all of our income to these larger corporations is money that they're losing every single day. So we need to find a way to support our small businesses in a way that is sustainable for them. Number four, a hug, a handshake, and a kiss are some of the most valuable currency that we have in our society. You don't realize how valuable a handshake is when you meet somebody or when you're doing business with somebody. Or you don't realize how valuable a hug is when you have a friend who really needs comfort. You don't realize how valuable a kiss is until you realize that you have to stay far away from the people that you care about most. And so all of these things are such valuable currency in our society, and it's way more than money. It's way more than time. It's that personal touch that allows somebody to say, I see you and I'm here for you. So I think in the future that is something we should not take for granted. Number 5, reinvention is how we make progress. So there's a saying that says necessity is the mother of invention. And I think that reinvention is the mother of success, because ultimately we have to reinvent. Some of the biggest, most successful companies in the world were launched in a time of, hard circumstances and bad economies, etc., or they were launched because of them. So keep in mind that reinvention is key. We can figure out how to get through this, but we may have to alter some things. We may have to do business a little bit differently. We may have to realize that this new normal really has to be something we're taking the long-term approach on. So keep that in mind also, because as we're moving forward, you may have to do things differently for a very long time, even after the pandemic is over, because now the mindset has changed. So reinvention is key to surviving that. Number 6, beautiful things come from dark places. So similar to a lotus flower, which is kind of a well-respected symbolic flower in Buddhism and some of the other culture or religions. It's a flower that comes from, it's deep rooted in mud and muck, and it has to grow through all of this dirty, nasty, murky water in order to get to the sunlight, in order to bloom. And I feel like lotus flowers are very symbolic of reinvention, of coming through something terrible to be beautiful. And I think that that's something we can see from this. I think we are going to come out of 2020 a different society, a different mindset, a different way to work, a different way to appreciate those around us. And so I see a lot of beauty coming out of this, and which just sounds crazy between the pandemic and the riots and everything else that's going on. You think 2020 is just such a crazy year, and it really is, but it is a year that is teaching us so much, and we just have to connect with it and understand that this is progress. This is something, we're changing mindsets, and we're actually coming together a little more. I know it feels very divisive right now, but I can assure you that this is something that we will all come out of stronger and better. Number 7, which leads me to number 7, we must treat each other with respect, kindness, and equality in order to be a civilized society. There are a lot of uncivilized societies, especially, hundreds of years ago, people would kill each other. Mass murders were common, and it was just a crazy society. And now we consider ourselves to be a civilized culture, yet inequality exists, and disrespect for each other based on race or gender or income, anything. Those things still exist. So how civilized are we really? If we're still judging each other based off of the haves and the have-nots, or the races, or the sex, or whatever it is. So we have to do a little bit better with that, and in order to really consider ourselves to be a civilized society, we really need to get that part right. Number 8, and this might be a little bit controversial, but heroism needs to be redefined. Heroism should be for the brave. It should be for the brave who fight on behalf and sacrifice themselves for the good of others. Not people who fought in a war for something that was oppression. When you come out of a battle and you're considered a hero, and there are monuments for you. Just know that it's not heroic to fight for the oppression of others, or to fight for others to be in a worse situation than you. Fighting for segregation, fighting for slavery, fighting for any of that stuff, that's not heroic. It's not. And for anyone to be honored for that is sad. It's like honoring Hitler and saying that he was some sort of a hero, and he wasn't. And that's what I think we need to get right, is we need to start realizing who our real heroes are. The real heroes are the ones who are working through the pandemic and risking their lives to be out there, making sure we have what we need. Everything from our nurses and our doctors and our public service professionals and our police officers and our military, they're still out there. They're still doing their job, and they're still protecting us. And I think that those are the real heroes. And if we're going to honor someone, it should be someone who really is sacrificing themselves for the good of others. Number 9, Home has a new meaning. Home is not just a place where we sleep. It's a place of refuge. It's a place of safety. It's a place that, we consider now to be where we're traveling to, traveling from. We're spending a lot more time at home these days. And I think it's, people are really starting to realize how important home is. So it's not just a place to come in and throw your stuff down and go to sleep. It's really an extension of you. And I know for myself, I've spent quite a lot of time over the past few months making my house a little bit more of an extension of me, doing renovations and keeping myself busy, but also just, realizing that these are things that I've put off for years because I was hardly ever here. And now that I'm here a lot, of course, you notice all the little things. So anyway, so number 10, the last one, and this is super important because this is the whole reason I'm even doing this talk. So number 10 is you are destined to repeat lessons until you learn them. And refusal to learn a lesson will result in a special kind of hell because you'll feel like you're just going through this Groundhog Day. You're going to keep repeating these lessons until you learn them. And whether that is in society with racism and our health and germs and so forth, or it could be relationships. Do you keep getting into the same toxic relationships? Do you keep having the same issues in relationships? Maybe that's something you need to look in the mirror and start figuring out, what do I need to be learning from this? How can I do better? It could be finances. Are you constantly finding yourself in a financial situation where you feel like you're digging yourself out of a hole? What choices are you making to continue to put yourself in that position on a regular basis? It could be work. If you feel like you're constantly in a dead-end job, what can you be doing better? So, these lessons will keep presenting themselves in our lives, and sometimes at the most inconvenient, inopportune times. But that's the opportunity for us to say, okay, enough is enough. You cannot keep learning the same lessons. And if you're not taking anything away from it, if you're not actually learning, you're going through the lesson, you're taking all the consequences, but you're not taking those consequences and then applying what you've learned to the next relationship or the next work environment or the next financial decision, it doesn't matter. You're going to learn those lessons over and over and over again until you finally start putting them in action. So thinking it's going to be different this time is it's a fallacy. It's something that we tell ourselves in order to excuse the actions that we're doing. And it's up to you to make it different that time. So thank you so much for your time today. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.